Yo, what's up? It is the Purple Yeti Roar time. On a Sunday, it's still morning. I'm here with my ridiculous moniker, and then I got my tasty K-State shirt, and rocking some tasty Java, as always on Sunday mornings. Man alive. And we had another week of college football in the books. Week 3 is done. We learned some things. We saw some new things. We saw the same old things. So let's get right to it. First off, K-State. K-State HD.TV got me the game, and I was able to watch it, and glad I did. UMass is terrible, but they stuck with the Cats in the first half, which something new? No, it's not. Teams usually stick with K-State in the first half, and then they kind of go bye-bye toward the second half. Jake Waters threw some touchdowns. That's a good sign. He's gonna need it. And Daniel Sams looked like Daniel Sams, really. So Kip, the quarterback for K-State, Kip something or other, had 2 interceptions, 1 with a pick 6. Put that all together, and pretty handy victory over UMass. And man, they get to prepare next week for Texas. So I'll talk about Texas in a second. A lot of things happened since the last roar. The Wildcat defense did okay, and it's kind of a tune-up game, I guess. My problem is that hopefully they don't go in too cocky in Austin next week. It's conference play, and I think both teams know that anyone can win the conference now. That PCU is starting to fall to the side, and well, I mean, the only really tough competition is probably going to be from Oklahoma State, and Baylor, and I'm scared of Baylor. I'm not sure Kansas State can run with that team, so that's what we're looking at for that. But let's talk about Texas. They lost again last night to Ole Miss, and they kind of just fell apart again. It was the defense again that went kind of patoots. I mean, they just kind of, the second half, they kind of just gave up. And I guess the coach for Ole Miss said that the defense didn't change. Which is funny because last time we talked, the defensive coordinator changed. Yes, Greg Robinson is in for Manny Diaz. And, man, nothing changed. I think they kind of guessed that the schemes that they had would probably be the same. They might be holding out something for the conference. This is like one last shot. The bells are ringing for Mac Brown even harder now. Usually when they lose, or when they lose 2 in a row, you'd say that, you know, everyone kind of just steps up and talk about, well, he's gone. They've been wanting to can this guy for a while, the way that this kind of conjecture reveals itself. It's the Mac Brown, talk about getting fired again. For the last 4 years, really, it's probably seeing Johnny Football and A&M be the way that they are, and kind of compare to how Texas is doing it. So, they lost, and they host Kansas State next week. That's a big game, and I'm not going to put it past those kids in Austin to give up on that game. I think there's going to be a big sense of urgency, and I think they're going to play like a dog in a corner, like a cornered dog, and it's just going to bite at everything. And I don't know yet if Kansas State has the talent to be able to, I don't even know, I wouldn't say talent, because Texas always has the bigger talent. I don't know if Kansas State has the kind of desire to go in and rise above and defeat Texas. It's going to be an interesting game, actually, for both sides. Offense is coming around for Kansas State. They're starting to get a feel for it. The defense is just kind of barely holding on. And now they have Texas, who, Case McCoy is not going to be anything. Maybe Asheville's come in next week and they'll do some things on offense. But Texas's defense, their manhood's going to be challenged this week. They lost 2 in a row, and they're going to be called out. They have new defensive coordinator, Greg Robinson, G-Rob all the way. It's going to be interesting, and I'm going to be at the game. Yep, that's right. Live and on location, whatever you want to call that. I will be at the game. It's an evening game. Maybe be tailgating. Who knows? Made some tasty gumbo. You'll see that tomorrow. Little hint of Chipotle really put it over the top again. But next week, it will be the Purple Yeti live at the Kansas State-Texas game. Should be a hoot. And I'm going to be real excited about what's going to happen. I'll take both cases, too. I think after the North Dakota State game, I kind of was like, let's just get to a bowl. And I'm still that way. I don't see, I see the way, well, let's run down the rest of the Big 12. Kansas lost to Rice, so with Kansas being Kansas, that's the last game of the year for Kansas State. I think that's going to be a good, I don't know if it'll be a test. They might get better. Kansas might increasingly get better toward the end of the year, but I would say that might be like a victory. But they lost to Rice. That's just bad. I picked them to cover the spread at least, which was 7 points in Rice's favor, and Rice won by 9. Great. Not good at all. And yeah, Kansas just does not win on the road at all. Oklahoma State whipped up on Lamar. That's going to be trouble for Kansas State. West Virginia, the beast has awoken. I'm a little iffy on that one just yet. They played Oklahoma really tough. I think they're going to be sneaky. I think it's going to be really sneaky for those guys. Iowa State looks like they're going to take a step back. It's still Farmageddon, but it's a battle. But they lost to Iowa last night, so that's a good barometer. However well you think Iowa State's going to do, the CyHawk Trophy battle usually is a good indicator. Now, of course, TCU and Texas Tech, they're kind of middle of the pack. I'm not scared yet of Texas Tech. That game was in Lubbock, and TCU I don't think has ever been to Lubbock, so it's understandable that they probably didn't do too well, because that wind, that's crazy atmosphere out there. It's just crazy kids in Lubbock, out west, y'all. Oklahoma, Blake Bell can throw. Yeah, that's right, I said that. Blake Bell can throw. They put up 51 on Tulsa, even though gave up 20 against them, but it's probably just, well, they gave up a touchdown early and they gave up a touchdown late, so Oklahoma's going to be tough. And of course, I said Baylor's going to be really tough, but that's your Big 12 week in review. Yeah, conference play starts. Not so sure yet about Kansas State's chances to win it. I'm still a little I'll probably put it at about 40%. But I will say that they'll probably have a pretty good shot of making a bowl this year, which would be good. I'm confident now that they'll probably make a bowl. You could put Iowa State and Kansas, and then you need to win 2 more out of maybe West Virginia, Texas Tech, TCU, and Texas. And you win 2 of those, and you're in. So I feel good about that chance. That's a pretty good shot. So what else happened yesterday? Well, let's take a look. The game of the century turned out to be the blowout. It turned out to be the Big 12 game of the century. See, what I don't get is if this was a Big 12 game, people would be lauding at how terrible the defense is in the Big 12. But Alabama puts up 49 and gives up over 600 yards for the first time like ever against Johnny Football and Texas A&M. They still won 49-42. Yeah, I mean, that SEC speed. Louisville, Kentucky, Oregon whipped up on Tennessee. Man, it's just it's the SEC aura. Whoa, hey, it was a great back and forth game. Defense is terrible. So yeah, I picked Alabama. I was going for Alabama. If they lose a game, they're gonna have the door open to the national championships for them anyway. So I might as well just have them win it all and answer any questions from the SEC and not get any other knucklehead involved in the BCS talk. So just put Alabama right there in the title game, and then have somebody else come up and beat them. Like maybe in Oregon, which yesterday's game would be a good preview against those two in the title game. Maybe Louisville. Louisville will go undefeated, but probably not make the BCS title game. That's gonna be a fitting way to end the BCS. At least to give the sports media nutbags something to complain about. So, yeah, there's that. Who else looks scary? Baylor fits the Oregon model pretty well. I'm kind of, if anything, there's a more vicious threat from Baylor than I see any other team in the Big 12. Oklahoma's traditional steady. They're going to be tough. Oklahoma State, with these allegations, I think they should play angry, and they did yesterday. But I have to watch their defense. I have to watch Baylor's defense against a tough team before I can make a call on Baylor yet. But man, they're scary on offense. So, but I don't see anybody else really topping Alabama. So just Alabama go undefeated and just get into the title game. And then that way we'll shut out everybody else from the SEC, and then we're good to go. We get to have someone knock the SEC, or at least try to, off the pedestal. So, speaking of, let's look forward this week then. I talked about some hopes and dreams for the championship game. Prediction machine is on fire for the Kansas State train, the K-State train. But let's look ahead to this week because, well, I already talked about Kansas State and Texas. It's going to be a pretty much if Texas drops this game, you're going to see people stepping down and retiring at the end of the year, and you're going to see a lot of stuff happening. I think it's about to blow up down here in Austin, but we're going to blow it up together. So that's coming on this week. Louisiana Tech is at Kansas, so Kansas might have a shot of winning that game. We got BYU, Michigan, UConn, Auburn, LSU, Texas State at Texas Tech. So, and Texas Tech is now ranked as they should be. Arizona State and Stanford looks like a decent one. West Virginia and Maryland. I got like, it's kind of a boring week actually. There's nothing really nothing interesting at all. So it's going to be a quiet week. The biggest game for me will definitely be the game I'll be at, and that would be the Kansas State-Texas game. Top 25 looks pretty weak. There's one top 25 matchup, and I think some teams are off on that week too. So it's it's going to be a slow week. Baylor's playing Louisiana Monroe, and it's a pretty drab week. I'm glad I'm going to the game. So there's that. This week, look for more picks I blew my picks up. You know, I suck at it. Look for the football feedings post. The gumbo was delicious. The South Austin Brewing Company beer was even tastier. And then we also have some Roar, and yeah, that's about it. So, hey, leave your comments down below. Subscribe up above. Congrats, K-State. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be a pivot game, a career-defining game, perhaps, next Saturday, and I'll be there. And until then, hey, I'll see ya.